Is Tuesday the 14th of April 2015, and I'm down at the observatory where we've got the 14-inch Meade LX200, and it's looking at Jupiter at the moment. And what I want to do is show you what I believe is causing Crrow777's donut ships that he's been talking about. I'm going to have a look at the end of the telescope, and as you can see, there's a big disc at the end of the telescope, this bit here, which is where the secondary mirror sits. Okay, so we've got a big mirror on the end of the, a big window on the end of the telescope. Down the other end is a mirror, and in the centre of this window here, we've got this circle, this disc, which on the other side of that disc has a secondary mirror, which bounces a light that is bounced off the primary mirror down the other end, bounces the light off this mirror and sends it back down the other end, where if we come down to the other end of this big bad boy, the eyepiece is located. So that secondary mirror actually bounces the light out the end of the telescope and through this prism here, and then the light comes back up through the eyepiece here. So I'm going to show you through the telescope looking at Jupiter what happens when I defocus the telescope. Okay, so I've got the Canon 60DA DSLR camera connected to the telescope now, and as I come around you can see that we're looking at Jupiter on the screen, and we can see 3 of its 4 main moons on the screen. I'm going to turn the recording on the camera. We're recording now, and what I'm going to do is defocus the telescope as we're looking at Jupiter, and you're going to see what happens to Jupiter on the screen. So I'm defocusing Jupiter, and I'm recording through the DSLR camera at the same time, so I can play that back as well. And what do we see? We see a big donut. And the other thing that you'll see, particularly on the DSLR video footage, is the way that we can see the air moving across the front of the telescope, which is atmospheric refraction. Speaking of atmospheric refraction, so the more I defocus the camera, the larger this donut gets, and this is why Crow is seeing what he calls donut ships, because his telescope is not collimated properly. It's not optically aligned correctly, and this is why he's seeing what he calls donut ships. I'm just losing my focus on the video camera. Let me just set that manually. There we go. So there is Crow's donut ships. There's a great big donut for you, Crow. And let me bring the focus back in, and we'll bring Jupiter back into view. Now, this footage of my camera is a bit blurry because we're filming at night, and it's a bit hard to get the focus holding this two-handed while I'm doing everything, and the autofocus doesn't want to quite hold, but yeah, it's bringing it back, and here comes Jupiter and its moons, and there we have it, Jupiter and its moons. So there we have it, donut ships and bats on Crow's videos. As always, do check out my Facebook discussion page, Voices of Reason to Explain X or VORTEX. You'll find a link in the description area. Thank you for watching. Hello YouTube, this is Dazza the cameraman. Today is Tuesday the 14th of April 2015, and I'm down at the observatory where we've got the 14-inch Meade LX200, and it's looking at Jupiter at the moment. And what I want to do is show you what I believe is causing Crrow777's donut ships that he's been talking about. I'm going to have a look at the end of the telescope, and as you can see, there's a big disc at the end of the telescope, this bit here, which is where the secondary mirror